Hi everybody, how are you? It is hailing outside, so if you hear anything amazing, it's turned to rain, I think, so we'll see if the lights stay on. We usually don't have a problem with that, so it should be okay. But I wanted to read you the next two chapters in the Unwanted by Lisa Mcmann. I hope you're all doing well and staying in and staying safe, like usual. Leave a comment if there's anything you'd like to see that maybe we can do for you on here or on Instagram. You can follow us on Team Boulevard on Instagram as well. Alright, let's get reading. So we were up to the chapter Artemay. It took a good deal of the afternoon for the children to thaw. Alex had a small headache, but it seemed to go away once a group of teenagers, who were slightly older looking than the group of Unwanted, delivered to them a delicious picnic supper on the lawn by the shore. As the children ate, the teenagers formed two rows facing them. A rousing but pleasant noise burst from the nearby bushes, and the groups stated words of welcome in a most peculiar way. The tops of nearby trees seemed to swish in the breeze like pom-poms. The Unwanteds had no idea what it all was, as they had never seen nor heard anything like it before. Alex could guess, though, since he had witnessed Megan's very serious infraction, that what the teenagers were doing was called singing. And though the noise was very fast and loud, it was exciting, and it sounded good to his ears. He looked at Megan, concerned, knowing how wrong this sort of thing was. But Megan was enraptured by the performers and didn't notice. When the song ended, the choir bowed politely, while Mr. Today applauded loudly. "Clap for them," he said to the new Unwanteds. "Like this, hands together, applause. It tells them that you liked it," he explained, as the choir dissipated. "You didn't you, Megan? I'll bet you did." Megan's eyes grew wide. She glanced in each direction uneasily, perhaps out of habit, and cleared her throat. "Yes, very much, sir." And then, when Mr. Today chuckled merrily, she added, "Thank you," and tried to smile. He nodded encouragingly to her and to all the children, and then his face grew sober. "You may express your feelings and say what you are thinking here in Artemay," he said in a soft voice. "It will be hard at first, but you are safe to speak your mind, all of you." His eyes grew misty for a moment, and then he clasped his hands in his lap. "There are some things we should talk about," he said. Everyone stopped what they were doing, and all eyes focused on Mr. Today, who continued, "You already know that your parents and the government of Quilt believe you to be eliminated by now. You know they are not mourning for you. They're doing what they do every day, which is to work to build Quilt into a place of extreme power and super intelligence. You, dear children, are what they call creative, imaginative. The government, and especially High Priest Justine, wants to eliminate creative thinkers like you. They see creativity as a weakness. After all, it could lead to something horrible, like magic." He afforded a small smile, picked a flower, and handed it to Megan. She hesitated and then took it, and in her hand, it turned into a small silver music box. Megan jumped and sucked in a startled breath. "Music," Mr. Today said. "When you wind the little key, the music box will play a song. Sometimes you'll hear a song with voices saying something, like we just witnessed here a moment ago." Megan nodded. "Singing," she said. She turned the key tentatively, and a few wondrous notes sprang from the box. She startled, and then her shock melted into a grin. "Indeed," Mr. Today replied, peering at the others to see if they understood. "Singing and dancing, painting, sculpting, telling wild tales," he said, glancing at Lainey, who blushed. "Theater, playing instruments, writing stories and poems," he continued, glancing at various others at each word. "That is what you are now free to do." He noticed their puzzled looks. But I'm getting ahead of myself." He paused and tapped a finger on his lips as if he were thinking carefully. "I have two very serious requests. Because of your creative minds, you have been eliminated. Or so think the people of Quill. My first request is this. Please consider the ramifications if you ever decide you want to go back to Quill. The group of children blinked, hanging on to every word. If you ever go back, if you ever contact anyone there in any way, your parents or your siblings, he said, glancing at Alex, the governors or anyone, you risk exposing us all. You take the lives of everyone here in Artemay into your own hands. If discovered, this place and everyone in it will be destroyed. Alex shivered, even though the day was still warm. He thought about his twin brother Aaron and felt a sharp pain run through him, as if half of his own body had been severed from the rest. But he knew that Mr. Today was right, and there was no way he would jeopardize the life of a man who had saved him, or the lives of the others here. Alex nodded very seriously along with the rest of the group, but part of Alex wished that Aaron could have shared in his good fortune. My second request, Mr. Today said, is this. Please take the classes I offer. Train with my warriors and learn how to fight, because if the High Priest Justine, the governors, or the Quilletary does discover that you have not been eliminated, he paused, letting the word sink in. They will kill me for deceiving them, and then they will kill you once and for all. And if that happens, Artemay will disappear. Samid, who had been silent ever since his whispered oath, now stiffened. Fight against Quilletary, he sneered. Impossible. Mr. Today cocked his head. Ah, Samid, he said, the realm of possibility here in Artemay is only limited by your imaginations. You'll get used to it after a time. But you seem quite disturbed, my friend. Why is it that you think fighting is impossible? Look at us, Samid waved his hand around at the group. He stopped and pointed at Alex, glaring. In case you don't know, we're the rejects from Quill. We're not strong or intelligent. We're not capable of fighting. We're worthless. And you think we stand a chance against the Quilletary? Samid rose to his feet. What you have here is all really impressive, Mr. Today. But come on. You don't seem to have any soldiers except for that group of oversized animals at the gate. No tanks, no weapons. They'll destroy us in about 1 minute. Because we all keep our tanks and weapons out in the grass. What is he thinking? I do not like that character. Let me know what you guys think about Samid in the comments. Alex shifted uncomfortably and looked down. The small smile on Mr. Today's face remained hidden by his hand as he stroked his chin and grew thoughtful. He said, almost as if he'd expected Samid to say more. And the boy did. This place is ridiculous. I'm not taking your silly classes. Stupid classes. At the word stupid and all the words around it, the other children's eyes widened in fear. In Quill, an outburst like this was against the law and a most egregious infraction that would seal a child's face with no exception. Fate, not face. My reading abilities, not great today. I'm sorry. It's not stupid, Lainey burst out without meaning to. She's one of my favorite characters, by the way. You'll see why. She clapped her hand over her mouth. Alex, feeling both a bit protected of Lainey and a bit miffed at Samid for always glaring at him, shifted on the pink picnic blanket in case he had to do something, although he had no idea what something might be, and shot a look of support at Lainey. Samid laughed sarcastically. Not for a baby, maybe. He looked Mr. Today in the eye and said, I think you are a complete lunatic. And then, as if he knew where he was going, he stalked off down the lawn to the seashore and kept walking along its edge. The Unwanted watched, stunned. Every one of the children knew that people in Quill were not allowed to argue or become angry with other Quillans. They were taught to bank their rage and keep it somewhere deep inside, so that in case of attack, they would, with one unified surge, pour the rage out upon the heads of their enemies. Of course, Quill had a lot of rage saved up, since there had been no sign of enemies in the entire 50 years of High Priest Justine's reign. Yet the government instilled much fear into the people about evil foreign lands beyond the protective walls of Quill. Unimagined places, like the great desert and the dark forest, as if an attack were imminent. And who were the people of Quill to question the rulers who had kept them safe all this time? But here in Artemay, nothing was as the Unwanteds expected. The other children began chattering, shocked at Samid's actions and words. What is he doing? Is he allowed to go off like that? Isn't someone going to stop him? Why does he have to be so mean? This last one was from Lainey, who felt wounded, having just been called a baby. Samid's outburst was foreign to the Unwanteds, and they watched Mr. Today, waiting for him to punish Samid for the infraction. But to their great puzzlement, Mr. Today did nothing. As the old man watched the children react to the scene, it was hard for him to hide the mirth that crinkled around his eyes. "Bravo, bravo, my dear boy," he called in the direction of Samid. "That's the way. Perfect," he thought. Even better than he had hoped for the first day. He put his hands together and began clapping and shouting. Samid flung up his hand in disgust and continued walking. The others, startled, had no idea what to think. But after a moment, Megan began to clap too, for there was something inside her churning mind that just about, but not quite, understood why. Soon Alex joined in, as if he almost understood it too, and a curious look passed between Megan and him, one that made them both want to laugh out loud. Let's see how long I think as the book goes on, the chapters get longer. So we're gonna stop there, I think. And the next one is Home in the Stone Mansion, because I believe the next chapter has a lot of information to take in. So I don't want it to be too much. But alright, the next one should go up on Thursday. And I hope you all again are doing really well. And we miss you guys. And again, if you follow us on Instagram, Teen Boulevard, Westhampton Library has its own page, and we're, also on Facebook. And I'm glad I stopped there because there's the thunderstorm. Almost right on time. It's a little early. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.